I start taping the second part. What I was saying is that metacognition is part of the learning skills, because if you're able to reflect on your learning process, right, that helps you a lot. Like saying, what are my strengths, right? What are my weaknesses? How do I solve such a problem? All right. Yes, Camille.
Yes, thank you.
Good. All right. So,
Anna,
yes.
I read the chapters, and I have some doubts about CLIL, and one of them is, can you study in a CLIL environment without immersion? Because the text says the word immersion a lot of times. So one of my questions was if you can study in a CLIL environment without immersion.
Immersion. Good. What do you think, people, the rest, your companions? What's your idea? Can you study in a clear environment without immersion?
In the material,
yes, you can.
Noelia?
In the material, it says the concept of linguistic immersion.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that this is the immersion between the linguistic learning and the content learning, so it is needed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Sergio, what were you going to say?
If we understand immersion for doing some extra activity, I can say that immersion is not necessary for working using a clear. For example, if you go to La Serenísima for saying something, to a tour of the plant of the company in English.
Yes.
That's an extra activity.
Mm-hmm.
And you are immersing students in English and in the activities of the company.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do not do that, you can work using CLIL.
Okay, let's take your example. Let's take Sergio's example. One possibility is you visit La Serenísima here in Rodriguez and you have an English tour. Okay, so the content is, I don't know, dairy products, because you are dealing with healthy diets, right? And healthy food, and how important it is for your body, right, to eat healthy food. So you take the kids to La Serenísima and they see all the process of the milk and the yogurt and cheese and whatever in English. Okay, then you return to the school and they have to summarize. They have to while they are on tour, they have to take down notes. So you taught them how to take down notes. Learning skills. Okay, good. You do the same. Then you go to the school and they have to summarize. They have to transform the notes into a mind and then into a summary. And then there is a project where they have to, I don't know, create a recipe for cheese. I'm just inventing, okay? Now, you do the same, but you go to La Serenísima and there is no guided tour in English, but it's in Spanish. But then you go to the school and you continue working with English and Spanish, right? But mostly English is your English class. Which of these two situations is a CLIL situation? First of all, are they CLIL situations? What do you think? Reni, what do you think? Are these CLIL situations?
Sorry, Anna, can you repeat?
Yes.
The question?
I mean, if they are CLIL situations, I mean, the two situations that I described.
Sorry, Anna, I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, who can do it? Who can answer? Marina?
Yes.
Marina Casenave?
Yeah.
I think that yes, because it's related with real life and with things that a child or our kids maybe know or they are familiar with.
Okay. Okay. Noelia, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I think they are in both situations.
Both situations are clean. Both situations are clean. And that, Eileen, coming back to your question, we are not in an immersion environment. Immersion is Canada. Okay, immersion is when you go to another country in our context, it's going to another country and living in another country and learning or acquiring a language, an additional language. But here in Argentina, we do not have immersion. There is no immersion at all. But Alejandra's class about Molina campus, is it clear?
Yes.
It's clear. It's clear. Do we have immersion? No, there is no immersion.
Just one hour or maybe two, but it's a short time.
Exactly. Okay.
Clear.
Does it answer your question, Eileen?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. Right. Any other questions? I would like to share with you what? Let's see what we have in here. People, you tell me if there's something that we need to, that you want to discuss a little bit in depth, okay? No, not this one. Let's go. So as to, okay. So we discussed this idea of introduction to CLIL, okay? Is there anything that you want to ask me about this?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, if there's anything you need to ask me about this, about the videos that we saw and we analyzed, all this part that I'm asking you, the excerpt from Mohan and Slater. No? Okay, so we'll continue and what you did was to read chapters 1 and 2 and chapter 1 from CLIL, from Du Coil, this one. Yes? And then you summarized it. I saw that these are great and wonderful mind maps, okay? I really like it, what you did here. All right, so here you have the theory, right? Summarized the theory. Then the following task, right, is to analyze this teaching sequence, and now we are going to discuss the teaching sequence, have a look at it, and then start recognizing cognition, community, content, and communication. Now, these four concepts, cognition, community, content, and communication, are what we call the 4 C's, right? The 4 C's are, together with this holy trinity that we discussed before, the 4 C's are inherent to CLIL. They need to be present in a CLIL class. Cognition is always present, always, people, right? Always present. Now, community, what does community mean? It's not, when we talk about community, we are not talking only about the community outside school, right? The community in Luján. We can talk about the community within the classroom, the community of the school, okay? And that implies collaborative work. Content. What do we mean by content? Here, from the CLIL point of view. From the CLIL point of view, what do we mean by content? We've already said it. Yes.
Anna, but for example, we saw in the previous semester what is content, what that content is not only present simple, no? And in CLIL, content, for example, in the text, they say content and, for example, math, geography.
Yeah, take, because we are talking about subject content.
Okay, not the content we saw. Okay.
That's what we discussed before. Okay, this content, because people, something that we need to bear in mind. Here we are discussing one theory, one theoretical approach. Okay, is that clear? I guess that this is where you get mixed up. That here now we are concentrating on CLIL. What does CLIL say? Once we have this clear, then we start thinking, okay, but the curriculum design says that content is another thing. How can we, is there a communion between these two ideas? Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and then communication is the idea of communication, not only oral, but also reading, right? Because while you are reading, you're also communicating. And then, what content is Alejandra teaching, right? In what ways it differ, I mean, the teaching sequence differ from any language class, and then any other comments that you want to say. So in Molina Campos teaching sequence, in Alejandra's, I'm sorry, teaching sequence, we discussed, or we've already discussed this, and you can say here, this interaction here gives you the idea of how Alejandra leads students to how she scaffolds the process of working with internet, okay? And she's using the mother tongue, and she's using English too, all right? Yes?
Sorry,
Yes.
Anna, is this, sorry, Alejandra's teaching sequence, and I'm talking about specifically about the classroom interactions. Is that a good model to follow? Because sometimes I feel like kind of lost sometimes while writing the classroom interactions.
Okay. Okay, let's see. One thing is what you should write in your plan. I know that there are some people that expect you to write the classroom interactions like the teacher says, the students answer, the teacher says. Is that your case?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, you would have to, for me, but this is Anna, right? You would have to express that in English. But then I want to ask you, right? I return the question. What do you think? Do you think that this is a good model? Do you think that this is okay for us to happen in an English class in the province of Buenos Aires? Here, people, the situation, right? En Tres Lomas, okay? Tres Lomas, right? Province of Buenos Aires. She has 25 kids in a class. She has to divide, she has only one computer in the headmistress office. She has to divide the class into 3 different groups. So, context, right? Context, think about the context. Is this a good way, a good, let's see, interaction for an English class? What do you think? What's your perception is?
I think it was a bit ambitious because she has a lot of limitations. The fact that she has to go to the headmistress office, sorry, it's a problem because she lost a lot of time.
A lot of time, okay. But Sergio, I agree with you, but that's the only way to do it. Because what's the alternative? What's the alternative? You stay within the classroom and you open your book and you say, exercise number 1, exercise number 2. So at least there is some kind of creativity on her part. She's doing what she can do. She's using Spanish, she's using English. Is she getting to the students? Do students get what she really wants? Do students understand what it means to surf the net? What do you think? Don't be afraid. I want to listen to you.
Well,
the plan.
Yes.
I don't
Yes,
I don't know how to say
students.
it because
Anna?
Pardon. Sorry,
Anna?
sorry. Yes, that the students follow what Alejandra is asking. The thing is, when we plan this, this teaching sequence.
Ana.
Sí. Hernán.
No, Anabel.
Hernán?
No, perhaps Annabella wanted to say something and she is kind of, I don't know.
What I feel is that you are very worried what to write. You are very worried what to write. You are very worried on the form. Is that?
Yes.
Yes, Anna.
Okay,
yes, we are, because we write something and maybe the teacher, it doesn't matter who, but the teacher will say, no, you are very ambitious. No, it is wrong. No, you have to correct it. And it's a long process. So we have to think very carefully before planning, because otherwise it's a nonsense.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
We had a common mistake, a common mistake that the sequences were teacher-centered.
Okay.
That's why we are paying attention to that, asking about that.
Okay, that's very important. That's very important. What do you think? Is this interaction, this very short interaction, imagine that this is like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, right, of the class. What do you think? Is it teacher-centered?
No.
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 No, she's taking into account the students, right?
Yes.
She's guiding the students, she's scaffolding the students when it says, for example, it says, look at this, when it starts, look at this website. It says Florencio Molina Campos. Who's Molina Campos, right? The teacher is speaking English. And one of the students says, es un pintor. And then the teacher says, okay, yes, a painter, repeat. And so the students repeat, a painter. And then she says, from Argentina or other countries, Argentina. So you see that she's using, kids are listening.
Yes, it's very
Kids
important
are
that.
listening. So in this case, she's working with listening comprehension.
And they understand also
Exactly.
what she's saying. So that I think
Exactly.
that is really important
Of
for
course.
us as teachers.
Of course.
And perhaps sometimes we write in our teaching sequences because we know what how is the environment here in Luján is in the classrooms in general.
Yeah.
So we don't have the opportunity this year to teach because of the situation, but last year we do.
Okay.
We did, sorry. So we can observe the class and we teach.
Exactly. So now in this interaction, is there cognition? Think about Bloom's taxonomy. You were talking about Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, from Bloom's taxonomy, right? From the low order thinking skills to the higher order thinking skills, all right? Do you remember that? Higher, lower, and higher order thinking skills. Yes or no? Sergio saying no. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm going to upload Bloom's taxonomy.
I don't remember the order, but I know that creating and those are the last ones.
Exactly. Let's see. When we discuss cognition, when we discuss Bloom's taxonomy, we think about the cognitive effort that we are putting into practice, that we are using to create knowledge. Okay? So, lower order thinking skills, what's the easiest way? What is something very easy Like, for example,
Remember.
No.
Remembering.
Before remembering, identifying and recognizing. That's why the teacher says, look at this website, right? It says Molina Campos. Who's Molina Campos? And then she starts, right? And then when it says here, yes, good. It's an internet site. It's official. Es un lugar de internet oficial. Let's read. Página de los herederos del artista. What's this? Quiere decir que lo escribió la familia. Good, very good. The family wrote it, right? And it's an official site, Spanish or English. Well, so what do we have here when it says, click with the mouse on his family, right? What information do you have? Okay,
instruction.
Here at the end. It says la biografía. So what skill is the teacher using here? Not the teacher, the students. What operations, what cognitive operations are they using? Well, identifying information. That's easy. Okay, but it's not easy. It's not
That's a reading strategy, and doesn't it?
Sorry, Juan, one?
That's a reading strategy.
Exactly. They are skimming and scanning. They are skimming and scanning the screen. Okay, they are identifying information. No es únicamente así, abrimos la computadora y decime. I mean, this is what we might believe, but there is theory behind that. There are, as Juan said, okay, these are reading techniques, reading strategies. She's not saying, let's scan the text. Let's skim. No, she's helping them to do it without saying it. But if you, from the point of view of theory, you have to analyze this, what you have to say, that this is an interaction, that there is there are information gaps, that kids are putting into practice reading strategies, that there are lower order thinking skills in play here because kids are identifying information, okay? And they are listening. They are listening to their teacher speaking English. So, is it an English class? Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Is it clear, people?
Yes.
The rest, do you see it?
Yes.
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 Does it get a little bit more clearer for you? Because really, to tell you the truth, I'm so worried for you now, right? That I want you to have it clear.
Yes, and
Yes,
I would ask you if we can devote one more class to analyze this teaching sequence, because I think this is what we need right now.
Okay.
I think that's what I need, at least. I don't know about my.
This is why I am going to try. Let's do that. If when communication breaks again, let's try to use the same link. If I cannot find it, I'll send who's ¿a quién tengo en el WhatsApp yo? De ustedes.
A mí no.
A nadie tengo en el WhatsApp. Bueno, les mando por el campus un link nuevo. Si no llego a tener, si no puedo utilizar el link que ya tengo, les mando por el campus un link nuevo, ¿ok? Y seguimos un poquito más. ¿Is that okay? ¿Is that okay?
Perdón, yo sigo sin poder acceder a las actividades.
Ok, sigamos primero con esto y después vemos, Hernán, no sé por qué. Ok, so can we go on?
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
Okay, so, and then let's go here, it says, when all the three groups have come to the computer, the class ends with a task, okay? There is another task here. Students have to ask their families if they know Molina Campos. They have to ask their parents and grandparents if possible, and they have to bring as much information as possible from the people in their community. They have to pay special attention to the descriptions people give about the painter and his work to see how people consider Molina Campos as a painter. They are not expected to investigate in reference books. They are simply expected to resort to other people in their community. So from CLIL, think about CLIL. What do we have here from the 4 C's?
Community interaction.
Okay.
Community
They're
interaction.
going to go to the butchers and they will see a calendar maybe, and well, they will recognize, oh, that's a paint of Molina Campos.
Okay. All right. To the butchers, to the greengrocers, to their families. So families are also included in the learning process. Even if it is in Spanish, it doesn't matter. But the idea is that they see education, I mean, the learning of a foreign language as a whole. It's a holistic approach, okay? Yes? Good. So that's about the first class. Then in the second class, I'm not going to read everything, but the idea is that they describe the pictures, right? And so the kids start with there is, there are, or my father likes, or she doesn't like, okay? Remember this part?
Yes.
Good. All right. Any questions?
Yes.
Any questions about this section?
No.
Okay. And then, so the teacher also explained that Molina Campos, when he painted, he first drew the horizon, and then he added the characters, right? So in this case, the teachers is including painting techniques. They are describing Molina Campos techniques, all right? So you see that the content is the subject content from art. Yes?
Yeah.
Good. Now, and then of course, from the point of view of linguistic exponents, it says, what time of the day is it? So you have in the morning, in the afternoon, evening. So apart from vocabulary, you are working with prepositions, because you don't said midday. You said at midday, in the morning, but at midday, in the evening, okay, in the afternoon, all right? So they are working with prepositions apart from parts of the day. What's the weather like? So there you have more linguistic exponents, vocabulary about the weather, and question forms. What's the season? Well, it's spring, it's summer, right? You can also add colors. The expression, my favorite is, my favorite painting is, okay? So content and language.
Like.
Hernan?
Yes, like and dislike.
Okay,
also.
likes and dislikes, exactly. Okay, we have only 10 minutes. Let's do this. Okay, I'm going to plan another session because, well, first of all, let's try to use the same link, okay? If we cannot use the same link, I'll send you a link through the platform and we get together at 7. Is it possible?
Yes, sure.
Good, all right.
Yes.
Then,
I
okay.
can't what?
Okay, class 3 people, and this is one that I'm very interested in. Class 3 is that the following class, students compare their own pictures, right, to the authentic, because they had to draw. Then students, the students work with the handout on the description of several pictures. As students do their each task, they check the answers on the board. So the first exercise, right, says look at the pictures and find the mistakes in the description, right? So you have a description and a picture, okay? Now, what is the teacher teaching here? Come on, people. What is she teaching?
Well, she is reviewing the linguistic exponents worked on in class 2. We can find weather, continuous present, and well, animals, maybe Actions, continuous action.
Okay, what else? Another one. I want another idea.
They have to compare the picture with the text.
The teacher is putting all the linguistic exponents in context.
Okay, she's putting the linguistic exponents in context. Okay, Sergio says focusing on linguistic exponents. Okay, very good. Kind of revising. Ro, you wanted to say something else?
That they need to compare the picture with the what it says in the excerpt there in the text. I don't know what to say.
Okay.
In this part.
Okay, good, very good. So from the point of view of functions is comparison. Kids need to compare here, and they need to compare two different modes of expression. One is the linguistic, which is the text, and the other is the graphic, the visual, which is another text, but it's a picture. Okay? So there is comparison, functions. All right, good. What else? What else does this exercise imply?
Culture, maybe.
Pardon?
You can talk about culture.
Culture. Okay, yes, definitely a certain culture. Okay, but what else? What are the kids doing here? What do they have to do? Do the exercise. In order to
This is
interacting. They are interacting with the text. I don't know.
Okay.
Communication. It's communication because
in what way? In what form? In what form?
Reading.
That's it. They are
yes,
reading.
According to the diseño, they have to transfer the picture to the text.
Very good. This is reading comprehension. This is reading comprehension, people. This is, instead of saying, read the text and answer the questions, read the text and say if the sentences are true or false, que es más aburrido que chupar un clavo, okay? There is another way of engaging kids to read. And not only to read from the linguistic point of view, but also to read pictures. They need to read the pictures. How to read a picture to see what's the difference between the pictures. So this is reading comprehension. The teacher is checking comprehension. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
It's a very silly exercise. It sounds silly. It sounds simple. But for a 9, 10, or 11-year-old kids in the province of Buenos Aires, it is not. The questions, I mean, the words here, the sentences, the linguistic form is not easy. Okay, so there's a lot of visual aid. Right. Questions about this?
Teacher.
No questions?
No.
Okay.
Yes,
good.
here.
Okay, let's go to number 2. It says, match the sentences to the correct picture to make a complete description for each picture. So there are several sentences here and then 2 pictures. Okay? Right? We have 4 minutes. Right. Again, what is this exercise for?
Okay, I think the same. Reading comprehension.
It's the same. Reading comprehension.
Yes.
Exactly. Reading comprehension. Okay, right. So you see, this is another way, right, of checking comprehension. I'm showing this, people, because I want to show you that there are different ways of checking comprehension. It's not just read the text and answer the questions. Read the text and say if the sentences are true or false. Todos caemos en esa. Todos caemos en esa. No. Here's another way. All right? Good. Okay. What about this one? I love this one. I love it. What can you tell me here?
Okay, we also here have content, because if we start thinking it's part of a language class where they have to know where to put punto, how to say, a stop and a comma and a full stop.
Definitely.
So where to divide a sentence,
exactly.
the structure.
So what's the topic here? What's the topic here? Punctuation. First of all, before punctuation, there is something else, but punctuation, the teacher is working with punctuation.
Okay, anyway, está re difícil. Yo cuando lo vi digo, no, es complicado para los chicos.
Exactamente. ¿Por qué, Sergio? Because students, first of all, they need to, this is reading comprehension too. They need to understand where a word starts and it finishes. In this picture, I can see a man riding a horse. That's very difficult. But this is great. I mean, they need to color each sentence and they add a punctuation. I love this exercise. I love it. Because that means if students can do that, they understand what it means. Okay?
Yes, I think that we shouldn't underestimate our students.
Definitely. We think that, sí, ellos entienden todo, right? But listen, compare this class. I want you to compare this class with typical classes where teachers write on the blackboard 10 sentences, all with the present simple and with gaps for kids to complete with the present simple. Compare that. Tell me if this isn't more interesting, more appealing. There are information gaps and you are learning not only language, not only English, you're learning something that has to do with your community, with your culture. Okay? Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. We have less than a minute, but I would like to continue. So if I do not open the class in 5 minutes, the Zoom in 5 minutes with the same link, I'm going to send you another link, okay? Using the virtual campus, okay? That's it? Okay. We'll meet again in 5 minutes.